Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting number 182. Thank you all for being here. Our first order of business is to ask if anybody has any declaration of conflicts they need to make for today's meeting. Seeing none, I think we're ready to go forward. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes from board meeting 180. The resolution reads, whereas the Internet Society Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the 180th board meeting as presented, resolved that the minutes of the 180th meeting of the Internet Society Board of Trustees are approved. May I ask someone to move the motion? Brian? And I see Laura as a second. Is there any discussion of the motion? Seeing no discussion, may I ask all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Thank you very much. The motion passes unanimously. The next item of business is the approval of the 2024-2025 elections timeline. The resolution reads, whereas in advance of each year's election and nomination cycle, the Internet Society Board of Trustees establishes an elections timetable identifying key deadlines and activities. Resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the 2024-2025 elections timetable as presented. May I ask someone to move the motion? Thank you, Barry. Any second? Oh, Brian. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, may I ask all those in favor to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing none, the motion is approved unanimously. The next item of business is relating to the appointment of additional members to the Nominations Committee and Elections Committee. The resolution reads, whereas Resolution 2024-11, the Board of Trustees established an initial Nominations Committee to be chaired by Caleb Agundale with Olafunke Barawa, Russ Housley, and Kathleen Moriarty serving as members. Whereas by Resolution 2024-11, the Board of Trustees established an initial Elections Committee to be chaired by Romano Biao with Maureen Hilliard and Laura Thompson as members, and President and CEO Sally Wentworth serving as an ex officio member, whereas the Board of Trustees desires to add additional members to the committees in accord with the procedures for selecting trustees. Resolved that the Board of Trustees appoints Pedro de Perigao Lana and Hendrik Eich to serve as additional members of the 2024-2025 Nominations Committee. Resolved that the Board of Trustees appoints Letsatsi Phineas Lekua and Benno Overeinder to serve as additional members of the 2024 Elections Committee. May I ask someone to move the motion? Barry, any second? Brian? Or is there any discussion of the motion? Seeing none, I ask all in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing no opposition or abstentions, the motion passes unanimously. The last item of business is the ISOC board response to the formal advice from the Chapter Advisory Committee. In this, the Board of Trustees acknowledges the receipt on July 18th, 2024 of two items of formal advice from the Chapter Advisory Committee. The first entitled Recommendation for Reopening the Chapter Delegates Mailing List to Chapter Members as Observers, and the second, ISOC funding for the ISOC.live video production, editing, and archiving services should be reinstated, as well as ISOC Live should be financially supported by ISOC on an ongoing basis. The Board of Trustees considered both and replied on September 13th at the the messages being archived at the links you see before you. There being no further action for the board on this topic, this is for the information of the community. Is there any other business for the good of the order? Seeing none, we are adjourned.